Hello, everyone. You're very welcome to another edition then of the series. It's called Getting to Know. And it's the opportunity then to talk to Nordic singers, songwriters, composers to enjoy live music. In some cases, they bring little videos along. In other cases, then they're just slinging guitars and pianos and anything else that creates music of a superior stroke. It's been really great. So far, we've had people like Arborist, Riva, Connor Mitchell, Una Monaghan. Next week, we've got Ricky Warwick. And I think beyond that, we may have Danny and Susie Blue. I'm trying to remember it all, but there will be lots and lots of things to happen. We've had a little bit of a breather while we recouped. And tonight, then, we're back in magnificent form. The series then, Getting to Know, is brought to you by the OEA Music Centre, and this has been a 10-year feature of that organisation. And so many great people have passed through the Getting to Know turnstiles, including Gary Lightbody and Hannah Peel and Tim Wheeler and Duke Special and many other people. It's brought to you in association with Dig With It magazine, and also then with supported by PRS Foundation. And when I say supported, are in collaboration with Dig With It magazine. My name is Stuart Bailey, and I work with Dig With It magazine, and I'm holding it up here. This was issue 1. This is Joshua Burnside, and it didn't take a massive amount of time for us to say who would we like on our front cover, because we knew Joshua had an album coming around the corner, and we knew that he was exceptional, and our hunches told us that he wouldn't disappoint, and of course he didn't. As the months have gone on, then we've been able to hear publicly some more of those songs. A part of the history then, if you like, of Joshua Burnside, kind of Cumber, Lisbon, County Down direction. The album then that thrilled everyone to their bones was Ephrata, which came out in 2017. And there have been some other releases since then. There was a kind of a compilation plus some new stuff, which was called Wear Bluebells in Your Hat If You're Going This Way. And then a release called Live at the Elmwood Hall in 2019, which was great. And you could hear the Ephrata songs growing into other strange blossoms due to the fact that Joshua Burnside's a great band leader, and also then that he drills his people well and gives them the freedom to do what they want to do as well. Now, traditionally, we would be waiting to see the new album in its live context, and that's not been possible. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. But tonight, then, we're going to be hearing probably 4 songs, which will give you an idea of where Joshua's at, where he's going. The album then, the second proper studio album, is out on September the 4th, and it is called Into the Depths of Hell, and it's fantastic. So in the background now, we've got technology. We have Dee somewhere in the satellite orbiting the world is going to press a button, and we're going to meet Joshua Burnside, and then we'll talk about it and we'll hear some music. How's that sound? Dee, can you fix that for us? There you are.
Yeah, how's it going?
You're not in. Well, you actually look like you're in the spaceship, but you're not. You're in East Belfast, isn't that correct?
That's right. I'm in my little studio space in Vault Artist Studios. I'm actually going to turn my reverb off while I chat to you, because that's a little off-putting, isn't it? All right, that's better, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
So
yeah.
And how long have you had a place? So basically, Vault Studio, it's an old school or an old college. It used to be part of Belfast Institute, and Adam Turkington and a few other people have kind of commandeered it to be a creative space. Ursula Burns has a space down there.
Right, yeah.
There's painters, there's people who make things with their hands.
There's circus performers, there was beekeepers, there's weavers, there's sculptors, there's every kind of person you can imagine in this building. And right where I'm sitting, I'm sort of up in an old theater, up above a theater, where it used to be the control room for the theater for plays and stuff. And so on one side, I can see into a gym, and the other side, I can see into the theater. And every day I come in, and it's just glass panels along here, and I see all the crazy crack that's going on, and it's brilliant. It's a really great place to get creative.
Yes, okay. So that's then is where the album then Into the Depths of Hell was kind of fleshed out. I guess most artists, you can do so much on the couch in front of the TV of a night, but it's nice to be able to put yourself in another zone where you can put some of those distractions behind you.
Yeah, for sure. But I think distractions are an important part of the creative process as well. You need to feed the unconscious mind with all the stuff going on for it to come out in some other way. I think artists give themselves a hard time, especially over lockdown. Like, oh, I should be creating more. Everyone's baking bread and writing novels, and what am I doing? And I think talking to a lot of people here anyway, there's been a bit of a creative drought during lockdown because you're not meeting people, interacting, and things aren't sparking because your life has been kind of turned down a notch, because of lockdown.
So when you do a 5-hour Netflix binge, you say, well, I'm feeding my subconscious.
Depends what I'm watching, but yeah.
The Kardashians is good for my songwriting.
That's my excuse anyway. I'll stick by it.
Very good. Well, listen, we should almost stand to attention or salute or do something to mark the fact that tonight a lot of venues are going to be lit red. And I think possibly the City Hall in Belfast and certainly landmarks across London and various other places. And it's a sign of grief and it's a sign of respect, really, because the fact that our venues really still aren't able to be proper venues. I presume you share that feeling. You would, if you could light up a few buildings, you would.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really. I think I was saying to people today, I think that this period, for me personally, I find it harder than the lockdown period because it's almost, you're getting a taste of normality, but not the whole thing. And it's almost worse because you just want to hug people and dance and scream in strangers' faces. And not that I do a lot of that, but you know what I mean? It's sort of, it's very frustrating to be told that these people, you can do this and you can do that, but you can't do gigs and you can't sing and you can't dance and you can't do all the things that make life worth living.
Yes. And I think there was a thing, was it today? Was it in Glasgow or somewhere where the road crews walked through the city pushing crates, pushing kind of, whatever people do, push backstage at gigs and stuff. But again, people who are hard pressed, who are having a tough time, wanting a wee bit of respect, a wee bit of love, and there was the big RTE gig down south, which obviously celebrated the crew and any excuse for Bono to sing "Stairway to Heaven," which was fairly unforgivable. But they did put €200,000 into the pot as well, which was a great thing. So we're all managing. We do what we can. Your album then, Into the Depths of Hell, was delayed a little bit from the sounds of things, but you're gonna go with it now. You're gonna set it out into the world. How does it feel?
Oh, I just can't wait to get it out there. It's been a little while since I wrote it, and yeah, I find it quite hard. I mean, I'm always really impressed by artists that who finish writing and recording, and long before they even release the album, they're already writing a second record. I feel like the Kieran Lowry would be a fine example of someone who's just constantly writing, and I've always found that very impressive. I feel like I can't start something new until the final nail of the coffin is hit or something.
Oh, really? So you see, this is a really necessary ceremony as well as everything else for you. Then that allows you to look into the future songs and song releases.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm very active musically with making other stuff, but when it comes to songwriting, maybe it's just because of the whole lockdown thing, but I haven't been writing an awful lot of songs in the last few months, to be honest. But I think that I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to, a lot of avenues I want to venture down. I just haven't got around to kind of getting into it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a magnificent gig last week. I can't even remember when. My days are all of a swirl, but you were live at the Ballyhackamore Social Club in East Belfast. It was part of East Side Arts, and it was yourself and Dan and Zara. And I have to say, I thought the production was impeccable. It was you could just hear all the words. You could feel all the nuances of you and the other two players. The new songs were coming through. Brilliant. And you know, everybody's done their Zoom gigs and their conversations and their face-to-faces or virtual face-to-faces in their kitchens and in their lounges and stuff. But that was a great moment because it really pushed things towards concert hall fidelity. Did you enjoy doing that?
I did really. I really enjoyed it. It was amazing what the guys did with the lights and the sound, and in such a, it wasn't a big, it's not a big space, but they made it feel like a big space. So hats off to those guys for doing such a good job.
Okay.
Cormac O'Kane, he was kind of organizing all that stuff, and yeah, it was a good vibe. I haven't seen the video, so I don't know. I haven't seen it back, so I'm not sure if it was any good, but hopefully it was all right.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing it up into the air, eastsidearts.org, I think, and you might be able to watch that. It may have been archived. Hopefully it has been. But now we're going to hear, obviously, without the benefit of you know, hugely gifted sound engineers and technology, but we're still going to hear something raw and vital. And this is the first of 4 tracks tonight. From Into the Depths of Hell. Give us a little taster of what this is and what's going on.
Yeah, it's one of the tracks from the new album. It's called Driving Around the City at Night, and it's a bit of a little journey, a little stream of consciousness journey. I used to drive around. When I first learned to drive, I was driving around in Glasgow, and I always found it a really relaxing thing to do, to drive around at night. And I would listen to cassettes, random whatever I could pick up in charity stores. And people don't really drive for pleasure anymore. I think that's kind of dying out because, well, it should die out because you should really only be using it to get to A to B, really. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's have a wee listen then. Thank you, Joshua.
Driving alone in the city at night, I thought I saw you caught in the high branches of a beech tree, bowling in the bluster. Above the big houses of solicitors. Built at the end of the 20th century, computers were big, everybody was wealthy, and the heart of it all flew into my vision like an oil for its dinner with lethal precision. And then into the dark you rode on the wind, shaking your head as if to rescind some crucial law of quantum mechanics. One cannot be here whilst over there. So you must remain my kind brother. Yes, you must remain my sweet brother, until eventually all of our smiling skeletons are gently uncovered by smiling Americans. All is explained how we came to such unfortunate endings by the cracks in our skulls and the dull arrows in our graves. A hedge around us, smoke rising from the edge of the pitch flood, not upright in light of it all. There we go.
Driving Alone in the City at Night, a track from the upcoming album, which is only a few weeks away now, which is called Into the Depths of Hell. And the cover of Into the Depths of Hell, it's got what looks like two tigers kind of swirling around. You've got roses and banners, and it doesn't look alarming. But neither is it pretty. It's kind of
my dog just ran in. Sorry.
You're just trying to get a meme out of this, aren't you?
I know, I was like the BBC reporter there for a second.
Exactly. Yeah. You just literally just threw a biscuit on the ground and he came rushing in. Well, tell me about that. The cover from your record, then, because it's very bold and it's kind of intriguing.
Yeah. My booking agent Henry actually drew it. He's a fantastic illustrator, and I saw it, and I just love the demonic sort of nature of the cats. It reminded me almost of the sort of Hounds of Hell sort of vibe, and it just sort of fitted really, really nicely with the kind of general aesthetic of the album, and that sort of doomy, gloomy kind of thing. Well, I guess there's something about the illustration that is kind of looks almost archaic or like a really old drawing.
I thought it was like a Japanese woodcut or something when I first saw it. Yeah.
And so I like that a lot about it, because I'm drawing on a lot of really ancient traditions, I guess, with a lot of folk stuff in there, but it's sort of illustrated in a kind of modern way, so it's kind of combines old and new in the way that my music aspires to.
Yes, as Cheryl Cole would say, you're the whole package. Yeah. There will be a moment when you're finally gigging again, and somebody sidles up to you backstage and lifts up the trouser leg, and that album cover will be tattooed onto their thigh. Are you looking forward to that moment?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it could be me. You never know. It could be somebody else. You never know.
I think it would make a decent tattoo, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, we should give a first album. I got a free album to the first person to get that tattooed on their leg. I think
big
product
time
placement. I think that's a good idea.
Or any part of their body.
All joking aside, then I think what that is a magnificent song, Driving Alone in the City at Night, and you've put it in there, a bit of context, and it feels like it's a spooky song, and also there is that strange, almost pleasurable experience of being alone in a place that's removed from the noise and the bustle. And on the recorded version, I think is it like a vocoder or something? You can hear your voice turns into this kind of weird robotic kind of Blade Runner thing in the middle of it all. Was all that fun when you were placing all that together?
I had enormous fun making that track, and I think it's my favorite on the album because it I think I was just having a lot of fun experimenting and putting reverbs on vocals in the distance and pulling things here and playing around with the violin, making scratchy noises and throwing in sounds of the rain here. So much of the album, there's so much background noises happening from people moving about, and this isn't really a soundproof room, so all the mics are picking up all the accidental little stuff, and I really like that because you get these just weird noises in the distance and bumps and thumps, and I think it adds character. Well, I like to think it adds character to the recordings because it just gives it a flavor, I think.
And there is a sort of an artistic tradition now that's all about, Ian Sinclair and Will Self and stuff about getting lost in the city and about taking the wrong path almost deliberately just to see where you'll go and to get away from the trenches of routine and normality and taking your head to a place where it can maybe be more productive. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
We did have a conversation a while ago about you writing things when you wake up, and I think more people should do that. And I think you just said on your laptop, there's these weird words sometimes that collide, and you're kind of going, "What was all that about?" Is that something you're continuing with? Is that an ongoing thing?
Yeah, either on my laptop or on my phone. I generally have, when I'm starting to write a song, and if I haven't got a clear idea of what the song is or what I want it to be, or how I want it to start, I feel like once you get the first lyric, the song kind of that's it. If you nail the first lyric of a song, for me anyway, it's so easy from there. I don't know if that's the same with writing books and novels and all the rest of it, but for me, once I get that first lyric, that opening line, but that's the hard part, I think.
And both that song that we've just heard, Alone in the City at Night, and The Professor are both passing references to quantum physics.
Yeah.
Does quantum physics occupy your waking thoughts?
It does a wee bit, yeah. I think there's something really, it's almost like it's so beyond the normal person's comprehension that it becomes almost like this mystical, magical thing where two things can be in the same place at once, and all our basic intuition and understanding of the universe is constantly being challenged by this new science, and it's like it just boggles the mind. It's something that I think about a lot.
We'll keep that for the Joshua Burnside science lecture at Christmas.
No, I wouldn't. That's the height of my knowledge of it, really, to be honest.
Okay, well, we'll have to go and do a bit of revision then. So next live song then is the Only Thing I Fear. Yeah, Only Thing I Fear. And again, it's a relative newbie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you play it, and then we'll talk about it later. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'll put my reverb back on. Don't think I had it on for that one there. Oh, when I was younger and my parents were out working, your voice is in the attic, your face is in TV static, tigers in the garden, ghosts under the stairs, and under my bed behind the curtain, always feel the presence lurking. Now that I am older, the myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Well, I don't know what I did last night, and I don't know what I said to make you run a mile from me. There's thunder in my head. Oh, and the day is dying, I take my potion and float above that endless ocean. But careful friend, this useful tonic will boil the blood inside your stomach. And the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Yeah, the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah. Well, I just can't find peace in my soul. No, I just can't find it. Well, this persistent illusion that everything is moving forward as the weather vane spins, spins, spins. And the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah, the voices in the attic were mine. Yeah, the only thing I fear is myself. Yeah.
That's your second of four Joshua Burnside tracks this evening via the Getting to Know series at the OEM Music Centre. And tonight, then, if you've just joined us, we're in the vault in East Belfast, which is where Joshua Burnside has his recording studio and where the album then Into the Depths of Hell was made, and some of it then is coming back at us this evening. September 4th is when that record comes out. I listen to that song, Josh, and I think you're awful hard on yourself sometimes.
Well, I think we'll turn that reverb off again. Sorry. I think a lot of people can relate to that idea that, you know, you're your own worst enemy. And I wrote that song. I actually the first lyric I wrote of that song was, I just can't find peace in my soul, which is really, like, as far as lyrics go, for me, it's not a lyric I kind of like, but it was, I wrote it when I was about 15 or 16, and I quite like flowery sort of language and metaphor and cryptic stuff. That's my thing. But so writing something, having a line like that that's so honest and just so out there, I think the kind of song kind of revolves around that and was written around that, and I think I had to keep that line in it because that was a really honest thing at the time when I wrote it. You know, that's how I felt exactly, and I couldn't whitewash it or kind of dress it up. So yeah.
Okay, well, that's intriguing too, that you can have a line from many years ago that you will almost keep like a smooth pebble in your trouser pocket, and then eventually there'll be a moment when you'll know what it's good for. Then
yeah, exactly. That's perfect analogy.
Yes. Well, let's talk for a moment about other songwriters. Let's talk about Van Morrison. Hot Press magazine then have been doing a series, one or two every night then, of artists who are covering Van Morrison songs. I think it was it last night or the night before was Gary Lightbody and Ian Archer and Miriam had a run it into the Mystic and you know, stirred it around a bit, which was interesting. Tim Wheeler did Jackie Wilson Said. I think Brona Gallagher's going to do The Healing Has Begun. And Joshua Burnside's on the list, and I was perusing the list. I was going, "What's he going to pick?" And you have picked. You don't pull no punches, but what is you don't pull no punches, but you can't push the river.
Yeah,
what a weird line that is. But what a magnificent song. So you've gone into the kind of the less familiar corners of the Van Morrison song. But how did you choose that one?
Yeah, it's a deep cut. All right. I was on. I like Feed on Fleece, yeah, as an album. I think it was sort of overlooked when it originally came out, and then it's sort of being slowly emerging as one of his greatest, I think, amongst fans. You know, slowly but surely, and it's just some brilliant songs in it, and that's always one that I don't know, keep coming back to. I also thought it would be a good one to play. So for the hot press thing, we did it with the full band with drums, bass, cello, and all the rest of it. And it's a good song to play with a band because it's the same three chords all the way through, and I can give everyone space to kind of do what you want and kind of experiment with it, as opposed to something that's really complicated. So I thought this was a great idea to pick this song, and then I've never actually tried singing it before. And it was only when I tried to learn how to sing it, I realized what a mistake I'd made, because it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And the way his voice is just up and it's down and it's left and right, and it's just, I don't know, it's brilliant. It was I had to do a sort of Josh Burnside version of it because I just couldn't hack it. We had to put it down 2 steps because it was way above my range. And it made me had a new fine respect for Van after trying to do that, to be honest.
Well, that's great. And as you mentioned, then, you know, some of the most amazing Van Morrison songs are 2 or 3 chords, and you kind of go, you know, everybody's used those chords, or, you know, there's no finesse, there's no movement in 2 chords, and yet he finds the spaces and he finds the adventure in those moments, and he's able to transcend. It's an incredible thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I totally try, and I think it's more about the textures and the colors and the layering of things. Like in that song, Only Thing, it's 3 chords all the way through, and in the song before, there's no choruses or verses really. It's just sort of meanders, and I'm trying to differentiate each section with texture and color, as opposed to obvious, this is like the major bit and this is the minor bit, and you know what I mean. So, and I think that's a way I really like to write, and I think he does that really masterfully in a lot of his tracks, you know.
Yes. For the curious minded, there's a great Joshua Burnside Spotify playlist where you identify some of the kind of new-ish Irish trad and folk acts that have interested you, and there's everybody on there for like the Mary Wallopers, I think, are on there, and I'm trying to think who else is on it now. Bui, I think, are on it, I think, and there's some others. So there is the great thing about folk music is that it's always renewing itself, and new generations come to it and add their own story, and I think you've been at the Dunkern Arts and various other venues kind of partaking of that, really. I think you find that an interesting experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ray, who runs the Dunkern, is an absolute gem, and a great bringer together of different people from different places that shared the same sort of, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, there's so much great music come out of the island at the minute of Ireland. That I think it has something to do with the fact that because the music industry is damaged, it's kind of warped and gone wrong, and people have realized there's no way to really get a record deal in the same way as it was back in the day. It's all everyone's just kind of going, right, well, we're just going to do it ourselves, and who cares what it sounds like? And I think people are trying to less be like American or English, and everyone's just happy to be Irish and be uniquely Irish, whether it's in hip hop or punk or anything. And then I feel like we're less looking abroad but more looking at what's going on around us. And well, that's what I feel like anyway.
Yeah, well, that makes good sense. And we've already had the chance in recent weeks to hear "Born in the Blood," and you can hear the Irish tradition there. And I think I mentioned before, the guitar playing in that is just incredible. There's a meandering. It's not even really a riff. It's a slithery, beautiful thing that comes out in the middle of the song. And to me, it sounds almost like West African or something. But or it could be Johnny Hooker or whatever. But it's come out of some magnificently, strangely burnished place. That must have been a great moment when that arrived.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't really think. I knew there was going to be a killer sort of guitar line there, just sort of guitar line, and that's what I wanted to go there, and I'm pretty happy with it. I couldn't get it quite right production wise. Honestly, I was fiddling at it for days and days, and then I kind of settled on it. But I think you can, when you're writing, recording, and producing it, and you're just in your own wee space, you can get kind of lost in it and overwork things, and you start to forget what's good and what's not. And eventually, I just had to stop producing that track and go, all right, that's fine.
You have to give it away. Yeah. Well, I think it's fantastic. So whatever that means, we're going to have a listen to the track that's currently in focus ahead of the release of the album, War and Everything. And there was a little bit of a preamble the other night. You spoke about it at Ballyhackamore Social Club. I don't know if you can remember it or if you can revisit it. I think I had a drink at the time, so my memory isn't quite so good.
Yeah, I think I'd had a couple of drinks as well, to be honest. So yeah,
we'll just play it and we'll chat after.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for being anticlimactic there. It's a bit of reverb. She said, I feel lonely when I'm with you. Lonely when I'm with you. It's when you're with me and not with me. With everybody else. Killed a million things tonight. Flagged the man in the dusty light. Just to have you to myself again, I would have waged a war on everything. Do you remember when we first met? It was like something from a film. You were passed out on the balcony, disturbed by the cacophony of Paris in the morning, into the mystic blare night of a party long abandoned, save for a future never ending. And it was off to the cold coast, where old ghosts are often heard the most. She said, you think you're smarter than you are. Said, I'd trade it all to know you more. And at the margin of the ocean, waves crashing in the dark, screaming, Mr. Tambourine Man. Oh, I love what I knew of you then, and you loved what you knew of me then. Oh, I've become a stranger to myself. I've become a stranger to you. Oh, I've become a stranger to myself. She Said I feel lonely when I'm with you, lonely when I'm with anyone. Like those old ghosts you sing about, yeah, that's how I feel now. Like a vampire's reflection in a mirror far away. If you could only see me again, could only see me again. Yes, I'd wage a war on everything. Yes, I'd wage a war on everything. No, I've become a stranger to myself. Now I've become a stranger to you. No, I've become a stranger to myself.
Joshua Burnside, War on Everything, which is you'll be able to hear the full widescreen experience then in a couple of weeks then when the album makes its appearance. And I guess, Joshua, like everybody else, you can't really plan that far ahead, can you?
No, I mean, I've been told not to really expect too many gigs until 2021. Apart from the Unlocked Festival up at Stendhal.
Oh, you're doing that? Oh, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing people and having a sort of. I think it could be really special, and I think most people are going to behave themselves and abide by the rules, and it'll just be lovely to see a bit of live music again. So I think it's gonna be real special. Yeah.
Yes. I heard that other beautiful story today about the Playhouse Theatre in Derry, where they can only use 20 seats in that beautiful venue. But in the remainder seats, then they're asking people who've lost family and friends in the conflict to put mementos down. Wow. And it's kind of filling empty spaces with the souls and wow. the vibrations of people who are no longer with us. So I every now and again, sometimes you can watch CNN and watch what's happening at the White House and just want to weep.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, humanity comes up with something that's a wee bit lovely and a wee bit sweet and a wee bit creative. And I guess in an ideal world, those are my people. I guess they're your people as well, George.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful sentiment. And yeah, that's really nice. I often feel like I've been playing recently to just every live stream has just been to an empty room. So I'm just been playing the ghosts quite a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I say, tonight we're getting close to sundown now, and some of the venues will be lit up red. In your mind, if you had to light up one particular venue or a place that you hold in the greatest affection as a traveling musician, is there anywhere that comes to mind?
Oh, as a venue, I have a lot of great memories of playing in the Empire, and I think for me it would be up there.
Yeah,
venue that's it's just a beautiful place, and I've played a lot of gigs there, and so I've got a lot of fond memories of being there. Especially that last gig was particularly special.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was January, wasn't it? That was the Quiet Arch kind of event. God bless him. We lost Lyndon Stevens that morning, and that was a way of the music community to say goodbye to him. And
yeah,
it breaks our heart, and that we just think Lyndon would have so much to offer at a time like this. When we're looking for creative thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard, but then I also sometimes think, well, at least he doesn't have to go through all this crap.
Yes. Yeah. He's stroking his beard somewhere and having a good old think, trying to get a message down. Bless you, Lyndon. We love you. So the final song then, and I'm going to light up in my mind the Oh Yeah Music Centre tonight as well, because I've been involved for a long time, man and boy, and obviously they're bringing tonight's event to us and have done so many great things. And they're trying to do the kind of youth development project as well. Volume control without actually meeting people, and they're like a lot of people are digging deep at the minute and doing well. And also the black box in Belfast where you can contribute, and they've got a lot of people fundraising on their behalf. And so, all of these things you presume they will rise again, and you hope they will rise again. And Stendhal Festival are kind of being, I guess, smartly defiant as well, and taking all the precautions, but wanting to make things happen. So, the tide might be turning. We don't know. Every time you think things are on the up, they aren't. But I'm going to ask you briefly then, Joshua, about fear of flying. That is an issue that you have been afflicted with.
Yeah. It's not really a fear of flying. It's a fear of infinity, which is, so it's anyone who's afraid of dying isn't really afraid of dying. They're afraid of flying. They're afraid of dying, really. Like if you were an invincible person, you wouldn't be afraid of anything. So, but if you're afraid of dying, for me, it's not afraid of the act of being dead. It's just the vastness of the universe and the emptiness of it all, and that sort of existential crisis that we all sort of go through now and again. So, what it comes down to, it's time. It's I think time is terrifying, and some people feel like have the opposite to me, where life just seems so long and every day just the same thing, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, there's not enough days in the year, and the years just keep flying by. But I think everyone has issues with time. So that's very philosophical.
Meantime, you're in the air, and someone makes an announcement over the PA, and the airplane says we are experiencing some turbulence, and presumably that doesn't fill you with joy.
No, and you always look to the people in charge, and if you see that they're worried, then that's when you should worry. But God bless them, they never show any emotions. I think even when the plane's going down, they have to be kind of professional, so you would never really know. So to alleviate my plane stress, I used to more, but I don't do as much. I would drink quite a bit before, during, and after flying.
Okay, right. Well, listen, we'll get on with that, and we'll have a listen to Whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
You will fill us full of existential wonder about the nature of space and quantum physics, and I think there's some questions. If I looked a bit distracted for a second, there's a little dialogue box coming up the side, and people are asking questions. But we're going to hear Whiskey. We're going to have a little bit of a chat, and that's us for the evening. But as ever, it's been fantastic. So whenever you're ready, Joshua.
Sure.
Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. The plane lurches, my stomach flips, and I look to the cabin crew for signs of concern, but they don't give much away. I am an Ulsterman, a goddamn liberal. Man of reason, oh, the little things we tell ourselves to give us back a bit of meaning. I mean, God's been dead for a while, so if there's nowhere for our souls to go, then I don't want to be so sober. So whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. No. Wouldn't take a genius to work it out. I've had my fair share of conversations with twisted metal and broken glass. Well, if lightning's gonna strike me twice, this time I'm gonna do it right. Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. Whiskey, whiskey, no ice in my whiskey, please. I ain't gonna die sober, no.
Whiskey, whiskey. And there you go, Metaphysical Dread and beautiful tunes, especially Joshua Burnside. You'll have us all sleeping fitfully tonight, thinking about the meaning of life. But there you go. I am looking at the side here, and I think someone's asked a question, but I can't find it. I'm on a thing called private chat. Oh, hold on, is there another thing? Oh, here we go. Here's another one. There's a separate thing. Oh yes. Well, Niall wants to know, when you played the gig, the Quiet Arch Linden gig, you did a Joy Division song with Kieran, which I think was Isolation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? I think Kieran just wanted to play it, and he asked me to play it. Would I want to hop on stage and hit the guitar a bit?
Yes.
Thankfully, it's 2-chord tunes, so I was like, "Yep,
let's do it." And I think he's done versions of Love Will Tear Us Apart and various other things. So, well, I can just see lots. This is a revelation. I've just realized there's people saying things, and I've been looking at the wrong list. But Leah Snoddy says live at the Elmwood Hall is a wonderful album. I would concur. What else? Manchester, says Chris Flack. I don't know what that means. That was part of the conversation earlier. What did that mean? That something happened in Manchester. I don't know if you can remember that part of the conversation.
I'm not sure.
Yes. McBrennan's having a great time. Josh in the Empire, says Rachel. How brilliant. And So there you go. Delana Thompson says enjoying it. And Stephanie Cotton loves that song, which presumably is Whiskey Whiskey. It was indeed, yeah. Josh is something else, says Rachel Craig. So there you go. It's good. There we go. There's feedback all the way, and we can bask in that later or whatever, or you can. It's nothing to do with me. So that's it. What can we say then? I think all of these things are archived. You can go back later and check on the Music Centre YouTube channel. So Arborist Riva, Connor Mitchell, Una Monaghan. Next week is Ricky Warwick, and the week after is Susie Blue. So don't be going far. But I guess September the 4th is a great moment. And have you any plans what you're going to be doing the day of release? Are you going to be working, or are you just going to be enjoying the fact that it's there?
I've been thinking about trying to just get friends and family and people involved in the album around to have like a little listening party and have a few drinks and have a big crack, basically. Yeah, maybe at the Voltaire. Yeah, I think that's the plan. And
I would be disappointed if there weren't corks popping, because I think it's a magnificent achievement. So
cheers.
So well done, sir.
Same to yourself with the Dig With It. The second edition was a great read. Reading it last night. So if you're watching now, go buy the second edition.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yeah, we're all fantastic. There's a Eastside Arts Festival event this Saturday night. You're on, I think, the 17th, is it, doing your track? Let me just check my notes. The 19th of August, you'll be live on the Hot Press YouTube site doing You Don't Pull No Punches, but You Don't Push the River. You don't want to say that after a long, tiring night. Yes, and this Saturday is the 75 Van Songs gig with Anthony Toner, Hannah Jane McPhillamy, Ursula Burns, and Paul McMorty. So that's us, done and dusted. Joshua, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And we'll meet each other again. Thanks to the OEM Music Centre. Thanks to Dig With It. Thanks to PRS Foundation. Bless you all, and good night.
Cheers. See you later, sheep.